ahead and press record, and we will see how this goes. Does it say recording in the thing? Okay, cool. Okay, we're gonna see how this goes. Okay, hello guys, welcome. I'm so excited. Hopefully we don't keep you guys too long. We can kind of keep it short, sweet to the point, but you guys know how it is sometimes. Like, I just get really excited and we get really passionate. And me and Audrey have been talking probably like the past week or so, just like side sister to side sister about like, you know, what we really feel like you guys need, what we know we needed, and sometimes what we still need to hear. But especially in those times where it just gets difficult, right? Where you feel like, you know, you're doing all the things, or you're getting really frustrated and you're getting really discouraged and like all of that stuff. And so kind of just what we've learned from our experience in this industry that's really worked with us. And I think our biggest thing that we just kept talking about that we feel like we really wanted to pour into you guys was the power of consistency. And I think sometimes it gets so underestimated, the power of showing up in some type of capacity, right? It doesn't have to be like consistently, like I'm going hard every day, like, you know, hustle mode 24/7. Like, consistency can be with your mindset, consistency can be with growing your network, consistency and you know, showing up on your social media, being present and sharing your story. There's so much power in consistency. And I think, you know, sometimes we don't see that right away, those little tiny decisions that we make each and every day that make a difference, but like it does. I need, hold on, my notebook. Ah! Where's my notebook? Sorry. Speaking of the power of consistency, the reason why I'm all over the place is like 10 minutes before this Zoom started, I was enrolling a new promoter that I talked to like a year ago about this business. It was like right when I had my son. And so she was interested in the business. She had just found out she was pregnant at the time. And now her baby is like 2 months old. And she's like, okay, I just need to do this. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of showing up. Like, literally someone I talked to a year ago. So I'm kind of all over the place. But my biggest thing with consistency that I think, you know, because if you don't know me or my story, my name's Brielle. I know it says Audrey right now because I'm on her Zoom, but my name's Brielle and I'm a 12K leader. I hit 12K in October, but it was 17 months into this industry. I'd never done this industry before. I was a teacher before this, and I never thought I would ever do anything like this, right? But it took me a bit. I had hit my VIPs. I hit my VIP 800, 1600, you know, my 4K. And then I kind of lost myself in it. I found out I was pregnant 6 weeks after I started. So it was kind of trying to find my rhythm, right? And I think sometimes that's why we get frustrated, is because we're trying to find like our rhythm. We're trying to find our groove. We're trying to figure out us. We're trying to figure out, what is my brand? Who am I, right? Because so many times we talk about that. What is your fives? What is it that you want to do? And we don't know that yet. So I think the biggest thing sometimes while you're trying to still figure yourself out is to just kind of focus on your journey, to focus on your 3 steps, to focus on working on your health and focus on your mental health and focus on that consistency. We can get so caught up in, well, my tracker's off here and I need this here and I need to do this here and I missed this IPA yesterday and I, you know, and then I see this girl over here and she's doing this and she's doing XYZ. Like, just zone into just being so freaking consistent, to the point that like if you were to miss a few days off your social media, people would be like, where'd you go? Right? Like what happened? Like, if I miss a few days, like would be getting an influx of messages like, call the police because something's wrong with Brielle because she hasn't shown up in 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, if I didn't answer my team in like 3 days, they'd be like, what happened? But it's because I've focused on my why and I've developed that. It's okay to not know why you're doing this in the beginning, because like, big term, right? It's okay to have that short term when you first start, because I didn't have that big term, because I didn't believe in myself. And I think so many of us think, well, I need to have these big dreams and these big goals when I first start, like my big why that we talk about. You might not have that first, and that's okay, right? Just maybe you got to just zone into to losing that extra 10 pounds. Maybe just right now your why is to be able to, you know, have that energy that you need. Maybe your why right now is just really focusing on your growth and getting through people pleasing. So like, it doesn't matter what it is that you want to be consistent in, just be consistent. Those little things that you do each and every day make such a difference. Like, think about, you know, I told my team this the other day, but like, oh, Chandra, you you sharing your screen. Hold on. Can you like unshare your screen? Oh wait. Oh, hold on. Can you guys see me?
It's good, Brielle. It's good.
Okay. Sorry, I just don't know what y'all can see, and I'm like, what is happening? Okay.
Sorry.
So like, it's okay. So like, think about whether it was a friend or whether it's like a person you're pursuing a relationship, right? Think about if they only called you when they wanted to. Think about if they only wanted to get together with you when they felt like it, when it was convenient for them. Think about if, you know, you had a friend that was kind of just there when she felt like it and when it was convenient for her, but if she was having a bad day, she just, you know, wanted nothing to do with you. Even if you needed her, she wasn't there for you. Think about someone, but think about that friend or that person that is in your life that's consistent, that you know you can depend on, that you know if you call them, they're there for you, that you know that like you trust them. You know what I mean? So like, for me, because I had never done this industry before, or maybe you have and you've switched companies, maybe it's the first time you've switched, maybe it's the second time or the third time, whatever it is, when you're starting something new, you gotta build that trust with your audience. That's what you're doing. You have to build that trust with people because people have been burned. People want to know that when they join you, that you're not just gonna leave. And you prove that and you show that by being consistent. But if you show up one day and you throw up a post, you know, one day here, and then a week goes by and you're throwing up another post and, you know, wait, and people are like, wait, you're still doing that stuff? Wait, I don't know. I haven't heard you talk about it. Are you still doing it? I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, and one minute you're excited and everything's rainbows and butterflies. And the next minute you're, you know, sharing like some kind of, you know, not that I still feel like you should be you, but sometimes I see people sharing things that have like a bunch of profanity on it and a bunch of other stuff. And it's like, when you go to your social media, like that's your resume for people and people are going to see if you're consistent. That's the biggest thing. So I think people that have joined my inbox, I'm telling you, it's not because like they're like, Brielle, your pictures are just always so amazing and your filters are just like amazing and your lighting is so perfect and you know, you just always have the right thing to say. Like they joined me because they're like, girl, you show up no matter what. Like you were pregnant and you were still showing up. You had a newborn and you were still showing up. So it proves to them that even when life gets busy, life gets crazy, that you can do this business, right? Like that's what you're showing people by being consistent. But if you are here and there and all over the place, then you know what I mean? Like really truly think about it. And it's not a diss on you. It's not like a, you know, you anything to like you're a failure, you're failing, like anything like that. It's just to kind of get that perspective of like what consistency says to other people. You know what I mean? And like the way to show up in that way, it's just such a powerful thing. And it just ensures to people like, okay, I know she's legit about this. Just like if there a guy kept showing up for you and he was calling you and he was texting you, you know, good morning and all that stuff, and he was showing up, you're like, okay, this guy's like for real, right? Like if my husband, like if he wouldn't answer my text messages and he just would show up here and show up there, and if we made plans, he dipped out, like I'd be like, okay, something's kind of going on here, right? But like those people that you can trust are the people that are consistent. And so the biggest thing with consistency that's helped me, like, because we all have those days. We all have those days where like you don't want to show up, right? Like raise your hand if you've ever had those days where you're like, I just don't feel like showing up today. I don't have any type of motivation. I'm not inspired. Why am I doing this? What is the point with this? Like, really, network marketing, this is what I want to do, right? We all have that, right? I'm sure we do it with anything in life, whether it's working out and you're in the middle of a workout and you're like, really, this is what I'm doing. I could be sitting and catching up on Grey's Anatomy right now, and I'm doing this. You know what I mean? Like you, there's so many things, but you know what? You know, by consistently getting those workouts in, that it's going to pay off. The first time you do a workout, you might not get a 6-pack right away. Even a week goes by and 2 weeks go by, but like, eventually you will see those results, right? It's the same thing with this business. So, but the biggest thing is your mindset. You know, we can talk about being consistent with the business, which is amazing, but the foundation of that is your mindset, period. Like, this is what controls your conversations. This is what's going to dictate your posts. This is what's going to dictate when you wake up and you're like, I don't really want to do this today. Let's just not really want to do. I'm just going to, go and do XYZ and just take a few days off because I just am, this is too much, right? This is what's going to shift that. And it's not like you have to go every single day. When you have those days, it's okay. If you need to take the first 4 or 5 hours of the day and not look at your phone, that's completely fine. Like, there are days where I'm like, it is 12 o'clock and I'm catching up with my team. Hey guys, I just really need to pour into myself this morning. Like, it's been one of those mornings. I have 2 boys, like all the things, right? That's okay. Consistency is just showing up every day, not all day, every day. You know what I mean? It's not all the time, every day. So, but this, being consistent with this, talking to yourself more positively, and that doesn't happen overnight either. I remember people would talk about affirmations. I'm like, what is this? Like hooba booba? Like, I'm going to talk to myself, like talk more positively to myself and tell myself I'm beautiful and tell myself I'm great. Like, I literally was like, this is weird. Like, it's weird to do that. That's just me personally. I don't know if anyone else has felt like that, but so for me, I couldn't honestly say it verbally because it felt really kind of awkward. So I just wrote them down on sticky notes and I put them on my wall and I just read them. Sometimes I would just whisper them like, I'm a beautiful person and I don't need others to validate my worth, or, it's not a no, it's just a right, not right now, or, whatever it was, right? And maybe the first week goes by and I don't really realize it. And another week goes by and I don't really realize it. And then like all of a sudden someone, I encounter something with someone and they're not the very nicest to me. And all of a sudden, instead of going into this rabbit hole of, oh my gosh, I'm such a horrible person, why would someone say this to me? Blah, 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 blah. See, I knew this wasn't for me. In this rabbit hole of just like, ugh, all of a sudden I would just say to myself, you know what? I don't need others to validate my worth. And I was like, whoa, this is really like working. All this positivity is really working. So there's so much power in that. And so especially, like I said, just knowing the purpose of it, right? What's the purpose of being consistent? To build that trust. You're building that trust on your social media with those people. And that's huge. And that's what's going to take you so far. And that takes time, and that's okay, right? Just have fun during that process of being consistent. Just get zoned in, on just having fun with your journey. And even if Susie Q over here is like, girl, I don't think that's for me. I think it's too expensive. It's like, okay, I'm still feeling bomb. You can tell me that all day long, but look at me. I still got my cap season and I feel bomb.com and I'm looking bomb.com. You know what I mean? Like, you just embrace it and be like, okay, you're the one that's missing out. I'm not the one that's missing out. You are. So I'm getting on a tangent. I'm not getting on consistency. That's just, now I'm getting hyped. But I'll turn it over to Audrey, but that's just really what kind of was on my heart tonight about consistency. So.
Okay. Hi guys. Okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, I'm Audrey. I'm a 12K leader as well, and I kind of wanted to come to you guys with consistency. So like Brielle addressed more consistency with your mindset, which is 100% the top thing that you need to master before you can go into consistency with the business. But that's what I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about. And just like as like a front part, I just kind of want to share with you guys first first things first, consistency does not equal perfection. That does not mean, when we say be consistent, that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect every single day. You have to learn to give yourself grace. TD Jakes shared something, and it has stuck with me ever since I heard it, because I used to stress myself out about, not being there enough for my husband because I was working a lot that day, or, really slacking on my business because my kids really needed me. And I would like beat myself up. And he talked about how life is like constantly juggling, right? So we have these 3 balls. So it might be like your spouse, your kids, your business, maybe your 9 to 5, and like you're juggling all day long, right? And sometimes you're going to drop the ball. Sometimes the ball's going to drop. As long as you're not dropping the same ball 2 days in a row, you're good. Like, you got to give yourself grace that at some point you're going to drop balls in certain areas. And so I don't want you guys to, really stress about, I'm not doing good in this area. Like, you've got to really be, figure out how to be consistent in one area and then go add in another one and kind of compound that until all of a sudden you're able to be consistent in your business all the time, no matter what comes at you. So start with your mindset and then start compounding into different IPAs and things like that. And that way you're not being so overwhelmed, because when you do that, that's when burnout comes. That's when the feeling like nothing's happening, and like you're not really strong in your mind because you've been trying to do it all at one time. So I just wanted to kind of start off with that, because I don't want people to be getting like discouraged in the fact that like it's not happening the way that you wanted to or on the timeline that you imagined, because I know we all set timelines for ourselves, and those can be like the most discouraging things sometimes, because we don't go on timelines. God does our timeline for us. So I wanted to start off with that, and then I kind of want to just share a little bit of backstory about me. So like, I have been in this industry for almost 3 years. June will be 3 years since I started in network marketing. I was with a previous company for 2 years. So I've been with Lavelle for about 10 months now. And I had to really, really work on like being mentally consistent in the beginning to be able to get where I am now. But what I want to share with you guys is that, especially my team, I think they can like vouch for this, is that even when big things go on in my life, you'll never see me stop working. Like, recently, like a few months ago, I woke up and my car had gotten repoed. It was not in my driveway anymore. And I was obviously, upset. I took 5 minutes. I cried about it. And then I, moved on, because there's nothing that I can, I can't control that. But that would have killed me 2 years prior. That would have killed me 7 months prior. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that is something that consistency builds, that strength in your mind, that strength in your hope, that strength in believing in yourself, believing that this isn't forever. Your circumstances are not forever. And that's what I bring to my audience. I look at things like that as, this is a part of my story. There's a reason why this is happening to me. Somebody else is crying about their car getting repoed. I can cry for 5 minutes and have hope, because I know it's not going to be like this forever. Not everybody has that. So this is a part of my story that I'm able to shape other people's lives. So knowing that, I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys too, because that, for me, that consistency came when I realized that I can either feel this pain and I can let it be in vain, or I can feel the pain and be consistent and let it be for a reason. Like, we are all going to experience pain, right? Everything, things happen, life happens, our kids are butt heads sometimes. My kids scream and fight all day long. If you guys don't know, I have 8 children. So not biologically, I have 5 kids biologically, but I'm just saying, like, there's kids in and out of my house all the time, and it's insane. And if I didn't have that mental strength, I would be freaking losing it. I would have Britney Spears shaving my head at this point. Okay. I'm just saying. But that consistency has built with me. It's built into my mind that if I don't do this, I have more fear of not doing it than fear of continuing. Like, does that make sense? Did I say that right? It makes sense in my mind. But I switched my mindset. I used to be afraid of what people think. Now I'm afraid not to share for that one person who's sitting there hopeless in their room, or whatever, you know, a mom that's on food stamps. Like I'm that person. I've been her. I've been those things. And so consistency for me speaks volumes, because I know that I'm going to change somebody's life. People might, you know, mock you and make fun of you, but there's going to be that one person that you change their life. And, you know, if you continue, it's going to be multiple people. And then like knowing that consistency is not something that just happens overnight, to give yourself that grace. Like, just like, okay, so here, let me give you guys an analogy. Let's say you wanted to go and you wanted to do a fitness competition. Okay, so you want to go and you want to do this fitness competition. And you walk into the gym the first day of your training, and you walk over and you try to do like a 300-pound deadlift. You're probably not going to be able to do it if you haven't previously trained. That's something that your body has to build up to. That's something that you're going to have to go in day after day after day and work your body and work your body and work your body to be able to get it to be able to do that. And you're going to go slow and steady and slow and steady. And all of a sudden, you're going to be able to lift the full 300 pounds. And that's the same thing with this business. You're going to start off with consistency in your mind. And then you're going to feel like you can start, you know, getting more consistent on your stories, that you're going to feel like, you know, confident in the content that you're putting out. You're going to feel like you're starting to know it yourself. And then you're going to look up and you're going to realize that you're able to be consistent across the board. And you're starting to see that compound effect happen. And you're starting to see it happen. And it's not going to always look like it in the beginning too. Like, we have to remind ourselves that with entrepreneurship, whether you're running a network marketing business, or if you're running a, you know, brick and mortar business, it's not something that's just going to happen overnight. You're not going to put up one post and everybody's going to be in your inbox. It doesn't happen for me. It doesn't happen for Brielle. It doesn't happen for M. Okay. That's not something, you know, you don't just put up one post and all of a sudden, you know, you've sold, you know, 10 3 steps. It just doesn't work that way. It happens with every single day. And then it just happens. I don't know how to explain it any way better, except for the fact that practice makes perfect. And the more that you just show up, and the more that you just realize that it doesn't matter if you're perfect. It doesn't matter about your pictures. It doesn't matter about that. Like, do I like to edit my pictures? Most definitely. But that, if you looked at my pictures from even a year ago, they didn't look near what they look like right now. But that's because I've already built the consistency in my IPAs that I can go and I can start being consistent in my editing. And like, you start to just find different areas that you can start being more consistent in. And it's just all about growth. So that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. If you like, I think I just saw Brielle put in the comments if you guys have any questions. I know, actually, I wanted to address, how do I get to the freaking chat? Excuse, I can't find the chat.
I can read it to you really quick.
I know that Chelsea had a question. And
Yeah.
I said something.
I saw she said, like, it's confusing. You're supposed to post but not be salesy. And some leaders have said they don't post thrive every day. Find the balance of sharing to the sale, yet remain consistent and start sharing a product out of nowhere. It's awkward at times trying to figure it out. So I think Chelsea, is it more of like, you know, trying to find the balance of you're wanting to be consistent, but not be like this, you know, buy my product, or like, you know, be like this over the top salesy person?
So really it was to piggyback off of what you were kind of saying, like showing up and being consistent every single day posting. Yet when you're first starting out, for myself, like I wasn't an avid poster. I was a person who may just post like encouragement or kindness. So for me to go all of a sudden to sharing and then putting my life out there to try to share and finding my vibe, like it's a lot in the sense of trying to build that brand. But then also you have leaders who say, you know, I don't post the product every day. I don't share my 3 steps every single day. And so trying to figure out that balance of, you know, overload, but making it organic because you're putting it into your lifestyle and you're trying to share it authentically, yet not maybe going overboard so people start to unfriend you or unfollow you or whatever.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So balance is not a real thing.
I'm learning that.
Not real. It's an unimaginable, unattainable thing. You can't ever do it because your days are never going to look the same. It's all about blending. It's all about not like knowing who you are, and Thrive is just a part of you. It's not your identity. And I do post about my 3 steps every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't post about that. Maybe not every single one, but at least one of them is on my story. And I think that for me personally, I don't know about Brielle, but for me personally, I put more importance on my stories, and then I will put things on my wall when I feel like I have something valuable to put out on there. Then I will, and I will, switch it up, randomly put, pictures of my kids, or whatever, or maybe something, like that. I don't really like share memes or any of that kind of stuff. I keep my wall pretty clean. But you don't have to feel the pressure, and that's the thing, that this is your business. This isn't that each one of you guys can run your business totally different. You don't have to be like other leaders. You can do what feels comfortable to you. You might want to still put up encouraging things on your wall. You might want to still share those, quotes in your stories. I do. I still share quotes in my stories because they mean something to me. So I put it out there. And it's not going to be like you have to go from not really posting anything about your life to being like, hey bro, so just so you know, all of this has happened to me my whole life, and here's my whole life story. Like, you don't have to do that. You can work up to that. You can work up to that vulnerability. And the way of going about it without being salesy is I never will. You can go on my wall right now and look at every single post, and you will never ever see like, you should join my team, or you should, definitely use my products. My thing is, I always, when I'm making a post, I come from a place of what it's doing for me.
Right.
And I word it in a way of, I'm sharing with you. And if you can relate, my DMs are always open for you.
And that's how you got me. So
Can I share something on that too?
Yes.
Because I think it's a really, really good question. Because I think, especially maybe if you come from another network marketing side, or maybe it's just a fear that's innately in you. To be honest, that was never a fear I had when I started. I just got so focused on my journey, if that makes sense. So I just really got, because I needed to lose weight, because I wanted to get pregnant and I wanted to have another baby, and I knew I needed to get this right and my health right. So I think I just got so excited about feeling so good and having something that made me feel so good. I just really just shared it. I didn't really care if everything looked all great, and I didn't even know what a filter was. Stories were still kind of honestly a new thing. I didn't really know how to do them. I just think the most important thing for me was just to share how I was personally feeling. So even if it's something as simple as, your girl, it's only, can you tell me how it's 10 a.m. and your girl just did laundry, she did dishes, she got the baby up, she's, done this, she's done that, she got her workout in, and I'm not completely exhausted. Like, hashtag thank you 3 steps. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
and then that's boom, you've made your post that day for your story. And then maybe, around later at night when the kids are put to bed or whatever, and then you can kind of be like, there's been something on my heart, and you share your quote, right? You do that. I think I talked to and everyone does things different, and that's
right.
okay. It's you finding your groove, and that takes time, and that's okay, because we'd rather you do what feels good to you. Like, some people are more humorous and they like to kind of do jokes and share movements. Hope's laughing because she knows. In some people, they're just really, and I'm more of that inspirational, like Hope, like, kind of person. That's my thing. That's what I love. So if sharing a quote and sharing something that you've learned makes you happy, do that. Right. So usually just doing one thing that's personal. Like, I have a baby, so I'll post about his 10-month update, or he just had his 1-year-old birthday party. So I'm posting about, oh my gosh, my baby's 1 year old, because that's what's going to make people know, hey, you're like a real person that still has things going on. So like usually like one personal thing and one, it could be the 3 steps. Yeah, it could be the 3 steps. It could be, oh my gosh, I just got off an amazing Zoom training with my team. Like, love that I have a business of people who are, taking time to pour into me. It doesn't have to be every single day. As far as your Facebook wall,
right?
Post, 3 steps.
Sure.
And with your stories, I think it's looking at it as to like have fun, like how to get creative. Like, ooh, how
Yeah.
else can I do this with my capsules? Like, can I toss them in the air? Can I, you know, like kind of do a cool little music video with them, and kind of having like more fun with it. Not like, okay, I haven't got my steps up and it's already 9:00 and are people going to think this? And are people going to, like, girl, if it's 12:00 and you still haven't posted your steps, like, you know, the day is still young. Like, you know, you can get it up and that's okay. It's just, and you can even say that, like, just get on really face to face, like, oh my gosh, I did that today. I'm like, guys, it's been a crazy morning, but thank the Lord for my capsules. I'm making my shake and it's 11:30. You know, it's just like, just explaining your day. Stories, I feel like, are more of like your story of your day. And then post is kind of like those little highlights about you. Whether it's something you're going through, something that you inspired you, you know what I mean? So I hope that helped. But it was a really good question, because I think that's something that a lot of us try to find, like, okay, I don't want to be this kind of person, but I also still want to, you know, be consistent.
I
Yeah.
have a girl on our team, her name is Vanessa, and she always calls her stories her behind the scenes. And I love that, because that's what it is. And that's what we got to look at our stories like. It's behind the scenes of our life, on what we're doing every day. It doesn't matter. Like, you will see me looking like a ratchet mess on my stories, because that's what I look like every day. And on my wall, you probably don't see that. You probably see me looking better. But on my stories, people get the me, you know what I mean? They get to see me in my house. They get to see my children running buck wild, and they get to see that I'm just a normal freaking mom that has bigger dreams than being just a mom. I mean, being a mom's awesome, don't get me wrong, but like, I have bigger dreams for my family. And I think that it's empowering for people to see you be you, because that's what they're following. You know, they don't care about what a package of capsules look like. That's just really that is something to see, because that people are like, what is that? But they don't really care about that until they're seeing you, they're hearing what you're saying. They're like, oh wow, like, she really does feel good. Look, she's using that every single day. Like, there's not a day that goes by that I don't see her hopping on there saying how good she feels. And that's where the impact comes, is like them seeing you. And so that's what your stories are really for. And your wall, like Brielle said, is really just to come forward. And, you know, sometimes you want to share something that's on your heart. Sometimes you want to just be like, yeah, I feel like a bad bitch this morning because I got my 3 steps in, and this is just, you know. And so it doesn't have to be like, I don't want people to stress about this. Like, this can be really fun.
I'm trying to find the fun.
Yeah, it is fun. You just got to figure out, like she said, your groove. Like, you got to figure out who you are. You got to really figure out the things that you want people to know about you. Like, my 5s, people tag me in Rae Dunn stuff all the time because they know that I love that. Like, they know I am obsessed with Rae Dunn. I can't tell you how many times people tag me and stuff about that. You know, a bunch of different things, because they've seen that on my page so much that they know that it's me. You know, and they're like, oh, that's the Thrive, that's that Thrive girl. Like, you know what I mean? Right. And they know you by that. So you just got to find that little blending.
On it.
It doesn't happen overnight. You just
and you know, and give yourself grace to like grow at your own pace, because that's such a common thing where it's like, there's some things that I'm still not ready to share about, right? There's some things that I still am not really ready to talk about, and that's okay. We don't want you to think like, okay, share your heart and it means you need to talk about something that happened to you in your childhood or anything like that. Like, right. It could just be, you know, I've struggled with people pleasing, you know, like those kind of little things. Or, you know, sometimes I've really struggled with like fear, or, you know, comparing myself. Gosh, you know how much I like compared myself all the time to other women or other moms, you know, things like that. And whatever it is, right? It can be anything. And just give yourself grace in the process of figuring that out, right? And sometimes it doesn't happen overnight, and then all of a sudden it's just like, that's why that self-development is so important, because it brings that out. Like, you're listening to a podcast and they're talking about, you know, comparison and people pleasing, and you're like, wait, okay, I struggle with that. Like, that's something that like I'm growing through, you know? So sometimes that can really bring that out. Or like, I'm obsessed with Pinterest quotes, like obsessed.
Yes.
It like really helps. Yeah. See, like, I feel like we'd really get along good. Like, we're like on the same wavelength, like inspirational stuff. And that's okay. And like, for anybody, right? I think if we think too hard about it, like, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be that, instead of doing that, switch it. What do you want to be? What
Yeah.
All right.
do you want to bring to your content? Because if we only think about what we don't want to be, then we're blocking that literally from our brain, instead of it's like, okay, well, what do I want to bring? What do I want to show? And something I did do was like, I made categories. So I made like a mom life category and wrote like a bunch of different topics about mom life. I wrote like a childhood kind of category, like, you know, I grew up, my parents were divorced, or, you know, I grew up with, you know, going to North Carolina, whatever, like kind of random things. I have a business category, I have a product category, things like that kind of like help me brainstorm just on those days where I'm like I call it post block.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a post block, and I go and listen to a podcast, or sometimes honestly it's actually just doing stuff. Like I just go and do the laundry, I go and clean my house, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I like, now something came to me. But anyways, the Zoom's about to end, so
All right. Thank you so
um,
much, everyone.
yes, thank you guys for taking
Bye, guys.
on. Bye,
Have a good night. Bye.